Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Together for LA's webinar series. Thank you for joining us this morning as we cover Marketing Plan 101, a new year strategy for small businesses, with a very special guest speaker that has joined us this morning. And Happy New Year, everyone. It is January and we are all getting started within the new year. So marketing plan and creating your plan is such an important topic right now. So thank you to everyone that has joined us this morning. I am Angela Amerikanian, Program Manager for the Together for LA program powered by LAEDC. We are Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit public benefit organization whose mission is to harness the power of private sector in collaboration with Los Angeles County to guide economic development and create more widely shared prosperity. Today's webinar and our webinar series, which I hope many of you have been joining us for the past 6 months, is brought to us by the Together for LA program. Together for LA is a strategic partnership with the organizations that you see on your screen. And our mission is to strengthen and support women-owned and diverse-owned small businesses all across LA County within all industry sectors as we all strive to recover from the economic crisis wrought by the COVID-19 pandemic. No-cost technical assistance and connections to small business resources are made available through our program sponsor, Wells Fargo. We have a wonderful website for those that have not yet had the chance to visit. laedc.org/coronavirus is our small business resource hub, where we have an easy to filter system where if you are in need of any assistance or resources, you can narrow down the resource of interest by your business type, the type of resource you're looking for. For example, if you're looking for grants and loans and financial opportunities, you would select capital and have a narrowed down list of resources that are beneficial to small businesses. We update this website on a daily basis as resources and grants and programs come up. So please take a look, as you will absolutely find a resource that should benefit you. I would next like to introduce my colleague, Bob Machuca. He is District Director of LAEDC, and he will share more information about our no-cost technical assistance and business consulting services that are available for everyone to please take advantage of. And I will share more information about our intake form at the end of the presentation. So Bob, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. Again, as you can see from the slide, we offer the Business Technical Assistance Program. This is available to all businesses in all sizes and completely at no cost to you. We cover all areas of Los Angeles County, all the 88 cities and all 120 unincorporated areas. We have district managers throughout the county in these areas to assist you. We are ready to assist you with challenges or pain points you may have to grow in your business. I do want to add one caveat, though we can introduce you to these multitude of programs. I do want to mention that some of them at this time may be slow in coming or backed up because of the workload due to COVID-19 pandemic. But I do also want to mention that we're hoping for more economic stimulus funding programs from the state and the federal government. And you can see there's a variety of programs in there: workforce development, there's grant programs, there's incentives. And some of these programs, as Angela said, you could find them on our website. Next slide, please. We are really your connections to resources. We have honed over the years contacts with our collaborative economic development partners to really introduce all these additional programs to the table to provide these specialized economic development programs. We can assist you with permitting assistance, financing, workforce development, special incentives, cost containment, and there's a variety of programs we can work with, as well as with our partners, to bring these resources to the table. Next slide, please. What I really want to mention is a program. We want to mention that the California Safer at Work program is presented by the California Department of Labor Workforce Development Agency. Really, it's an informational, educational program to help all of us prevent the spread and lessen the risk and harm from COVID-19. We want to emphasize really that having the right information is very powerful, like where to get vaccinations, workplace safety, and workers' rights information. We really want to educate, increase your knowledge at the workplace and at the individual level on how to stop the spread and mitigate the harm of COVID-19. To address these concerns, the Safer at Work's website, which you can see at the bottom of this slide, is an employer portal that can really provide guidance and compliance to some of the most commonly asked questions. With the right information and tools, we hope to reach and motivate workers and employers to really protect themselves and their workplace and their community for the benefit of all of us. And in this slide, in this portal, there's a roadmap. You can go in and you can list your location, your county location. You can list the industry you're in. And then what it'll do is come back with guidance specific to your type of industry and what the proper protocols are, where to get vaccinations, where to get tested. And all this information is updated on a daily basis. If you forget, you can find the website at the LA EDC's coronavirus website, or you could just Google coronavirus and it'll lead you to this website. Again, if you have any questions, you can please contact us and we will try to answer any questions you have on how to navigate the website. Thank you, Angela. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Bob, and thank you for sharing this great resource. I know that everyone might be confused or frustrated with the new COVID small business regulations as things continue to change. So one of our goals is also to be able to provide up-to-date information about the COVID-19 mask mandates and any regulations as they come up. So the website is always kept up to date with news. With that said, I would like to move on to the reason why we've gathered today. Our presentation today, which is a webinar/workshop with an incredible expert guest speaker, Marketing Plan 101, New Year Strategy for Small Businesses. I'd like to now introduce our guest speaker, Patty Ross. She is CEO of Golden State Marketing, and she is also the past immediate president of NABO Los Angeles, which is also an organization for women-owned businesses. Patty Ross with Golden State Marketing has well over 20 years experience in marketing and has been in the online space since 1998. Where she developed an e-commerce program for a gourmet gift company into a $1 million business. She has spent 17 years helping the wine industry gain traction online and has since branched out to help other industries grow their brands, including financial, legal, health, beauty, motorsports, landscape, restaurants, political activism, and nonprofit. So we thank you for your partnership, Patty, and I will let you take it from here.
Thank you so much, Angela and Bob, and Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for getting on this webinar today and learning about some marketing plan. We're just talking about New Year's resolutions. So in addition to losing weight and eating healthier, now it's like get your marketing going early in the year. So congratulations on that move. So hopefully this is useful for you. And let me just share my screen and get to the presentation. Hopefully this works. And can someone just let me know if they're seeing the slide that says World of Marketing? Yes. There we go. Somebody raise a hand or
Yes.
Shout out. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, and just a quick housekeeping. This is a webinar format, so it looks like we have both Q&A and chat. So since we have quite a few people in the room, if there are any questions, put them in the Q&A, just pull that up on the Zoom bar. Any comments you can, back and forth, you can go in the chat. Just easier for me to see the questions in Q&A. But I was telling Angela and Bob, I tend not to get a lot of questions during this particular class. It's usually like, oh gosh, yes, I need to create a marketing plan. So, but ask away. Anything you have on marketing, please do put the questions in Q&A and I'll answer those at either during or at the end. So the world of marketing. So as you can see here in my favorite slide, I always start all my classes with, is it's ever growing and it can be overwhelming. As you can see here, traditional side, TV, radio, print ads, billboards, PR, promotional products, and then of course the ever expanding digital world of marketing. Obviously we've had websites around for quite a while, social media, email marketing, new things, text marketing, Wi-Fi marketing, geofencing, retargeting. Oh, sorry about that. I thought I shut that off. Oops, there we go. I'm going to put everything on do not disturb. But as you can see here, it's a lot. And I know it can be overwhelming for business owners. Oh, can you hear me? Sorry, I don't know if somebody's off of mute. Sorry about that. This is why I developed this particular class, because I realize when I'm teaching classes about social media and email marketing and all of that, we're so sorry about that. I don't know what is going on there. There we go. Where do you go? Where do you spend your money and your time, right? And that's most important. We don't want to do this. We don't, as Ben Franklin says, if you fail to plan, you're already planning to fail. We don't want to do that. We also don't want to be the business that kind of just throws a spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks, right? Or do what we call in marketing, spray and pray, right? Shoot the bullets or fling the arrows and pray that you get that bullseye. But all of these holes on here represent your time and money, right? And none of us like to waste either one of those. I know I don't. So we don't want to be the spaghetti or the spray and pray when it comes to marketing. And as I mentioned, this is why I developed this particular class, because I found a lot of business owners are like, I just need to be on Instagram. They don't know why. They just heard everybody else is doing it. They don't know if that's even where their ideal clients hang out, but it's like, I just need to jump on it. So hopefully this class will kind of help you target in on really where your particular clients are and where you should be focusing your energy on. So what is marketing? I always just kind of go down to the third bullet point here. It's basically marketing is just telling people what you do over and over and over again, consistently, but you want to make sure you're doing that to the right people at the right place and the right time. That's all marketing is making sure that getting the right messaging out there over and over and over again, wherever it's going to be, radio, TV, social media, Wi-Fi marketing, text, whatever, wherever on that world of marketing that you're going to spend your time and money. So we want to make sure we focus in on that. So the buying cycle. So we shall be familiar with this when we're in our customers are. It's all marketing people love conversion. Oh, there we go. I think we missed some of the recording, but very important. To figure out your marketing goals and your business goals. So SMART goals. So basically an acronym, as you can see here, is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, right? So not yet. I like some of this, not yet. Great idea. So specific, want to get very specific on here. Not, I just want to generate more leads, but I want to generate a greater number of qualified leads from our blog for our sales team. So the specific part is from our blog. Right, that's what they determined was going to be their best bet for generating leads. Measurable, I want to grow the number of leads generated per month by our blog by 20%, sorry. So very specific, make it measurable. Making it attainable, right? So I'm a big believer in pie in the sky dreams as well as kind of the realistic dreams. So you don't want to go, well, we're doing 100 now. Let's go to 1,000 next month. It's fine, maybe, but let's keep it a little bit more attainable for you and your staff. So 120 more leads. Maybe it's a stretch goal to 140. But make it realistic and attainable. And then relevant. So in this case, in this example, they said, hey, we want to grow it from our blog because we know they convert 3 times better than our leads from our pay-per-click ads. So they already have figured that out, and that's relevant to their goal here. And then time-based, they're basing it on a per month. So I want to grow it per month from 100 to 120. You can do a time-based goal like by the end of January or by the end of the quarter or the year. Maybe not as long as a goal. Maybe your bigger goals are like by the end of 2022, I want to, but maybe I've done lead goal programs where we break it down on a quarterly basis. And then month by month and within that quarter, breaking down what are goals and what are the steps in the goals as well. So that's setting SMART goals. You can set individual marketing goals, make them small chunks like this. We just want to grow the number of leads from our blog. That's one very specific goal. So you don't have to look at it as setting one giant goal for your marketing. So break it down into steps. I want to do social media goals or your email marketing goals. Or something for your website or tracking leads, so it's really up to you. So hopefully, I think Angela said she'll giving you the recording. I'll also share the slide deck with you, and you'll have some blank pages here for you to print out and play with and set some SMART goals up, hopefully. So number 2, this is a very important step in the strategy circle, is buyer personas. Who's your audience? Who wants to buy from you, right? And a lot of us are either we're not specific enough. We try to, who is your customer, right? It can't be everyone, as Seth Godin says. Everyone is not your customer, and a lot of us do this. I do it. I fish in the ocean instead of fishing in a pond. And so what I mean by that is, like, I can help everybody. I can help, there's 60 something people in the room. I'm sure I could help all of you with your marketing. Doesn't matter. I don't even know what businesses you have, but I'm sure I could help everybody here. But should I, and if I say, hey, everybody, I do marketing, send me some clients, right? You're like, well, who? Right? So if I said, well, maybe I'm just going to focus on marketing for auto dealers or focusing on marketing for restaurants, right? So really trying to narrow down so you make it easier. What's the elephant how do you take a bite out of an elephant? One morsel at a time, not just one bite, one morsel at a time, right? You might be able to help everybody, but maybe you need to like niche it down and figure out who really is your ideal audience. So what are buyer personas? All right, so basically a buyer persona is a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer based on some market research, and if you have existing customers, perhaps some real data on your customers as well. I just want to open up the Q&A, make sure, yes, everybody will be getting slides and recordings, so I'll make sure those were answered. So why should you create buyer personas for your business? Well, especially if you have multiple segments, you can meet the needs better of micro segments and give them more appealing content. So say, for example, your business focuses both on men and women. Maybe you're going to market different to men and women. We buy different things. We think different, of course, maybe older versus younger, audience. You're going to definitely appeal differently to those target audiences. It definitely adds consistency to your marketing strategy if you know who you're targeting exactly and how to target to them. And of course, it will generate a higher quality leads if you do speak directly to those ideal audiences rather than fishing in the ocean, right? And then, as I mentioned, how do you find data to create your buyer personas? There are a couple different ways. If you have customers existing and you can carry out some customer interviews, see who they are. If you don't know who they are, why they buy from you, what makes them tick. If you have sales team, they might have some insights on your current customers. There's tons of data out there online, tons of market research you can do by industry that might help you out. And if you have competitors, which most of us do, unless you have a really, really unique business model, explore other bigger industry players and see what they're doing. Who are they targeting? Who are they appealing to? There's good thing about internet now is it's easier to find out what your competitors are doing out there in the space. So 5 simple questions to ask about your buyers. So what are the values of this audience? For example, are they a stay-at-home mom, budget conscious versus a corporate executive, more of a luxury lifestyle? You're not going to speak to them in the same way, right? You're not going to appeal to them in the same way. You're not going to send, budget tips to the corporate executive or some luxury stuff to the budget conscious mom, right? So how do you speak to those? Who are they both your audience? What are their pain points, needs versus want? So if my air conditioning breaks down and it's 100 degrees out, do I really care about saving money in that exact moment versus I need to cool down? It's hot. Sure, if I could save money and cool down, fabulous. But don't speak to me like, here, let's save you 20% on the air conditioning. And like, hey, I need to get it done. I'll be here in an hour, the HVAC person. So how are you speaking to them? And where and how will they be reading your information? Casual at home, sitting on the sofa, on the way to work, maybe on the bus, or in a doctor's office, in a waiting room. Where are you meeting them to give them your information? And do your buyers want to be talked to or talked with? Conversational, or just like, here, just tell me what it is, give me some instruction and send me on my way. Right? And what action do you want your buyer to take in that moment? Are you saying, hey, buy for me right this second? Are you planting seeds, for future purchases? Are you talking to existing customers and hopefully saying, come back you know, so there's different actions that you're going to want them to take. Got to figure that out. So when building buyer personas, here's some additional starter questions. Those are just kind of the top level, but there are different things that you might want to know about who your target audience is as you're building these buyer personas. Maybe you have in your head, okay, it's their age, their gender, do they have kids? Are they married, single? Or are they in a specific geographical area? Does that matter? They have a certain income level. That might make a difference. If you're a luxury brand versus a budget brand, what their income level is. What's their professional background? Does that matter? Are they a busy working executive mother who's away from home and doesn't have time to do certain things because she's a busy executive? Is she a middle manager? Is she a entry level young student fresh out of school? What are their values and fears? You know, what's important to them, you know, when they're considering products and services? You know, what are their goals and challenges? And then where are they in this, kind of figure out based on who your audience is, where do they, what social media do they use? Do they attend events and conferences? You know, what media do they consume? You know, a younger audience is not going to necessarily be where an older audience is. It might be in the same place, but, you know, you're not going to find an older audience on Snapchat, for example, on social media. And then negative info, you know, they're too difficult, too expensive, they don't have enough budget, they're in the wrong industry. So these are just things you're considering when you're building your buyer persona. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So this is for an animal shelter, right? And you think, well, why do they need buyer personas? Well, they have, because I get my dog on my lap as you see me shuffle. She wants to sit behind me. Lazy little pugs, definitely not a Bachelor Bryce dog, but you know, animal shelters have customers too, right? You have an animal, you pay for an animal, so they are buying customers. So they have to do marketing as well to get people in the door to you know, come adopt an animal. And not every animal is perfect for everybody. So Bachelor Bryce, you know, is a semi-fictional, you know, representation of one type of buyer for them. He's a single guy, 30 to 50, he's generally within 60s, relatively close to an animal shelter, and get there and back pretty easily. He's single, successful, but you know, it's a little lonely, and he wants companionship, but he also wants to stay healthy and fit. His challenges, loves animals, but not sure if pet ownership is for him, and doesn't even know where to begin on a dog selection process. So on the marketing side, how can the shelter help him, right? They can provide information on pet ownership. They can assist him with matchmaking to find the perfect dog. Definitely not a pug. You might hear snoring behind me. Might be more of a working breed that can run along with him as he's staying healthy and fit. Communicate the social and health benefits of having a pet. So this is just one potential buyer persona this animal shelter could have, right? So they could have a family that could be, you know, looking for an easy animal to take care of with young kids. Could be a senior citizen who might just need a lap dog that doesn't need a lot of exercise. So they can come up with multiple buyer personas and then target those markets. Bachelor Bryce is not hanging out potentially in the same places that senior citizen is. So they might have to reach that person in a different way than Bachelor Bryce. So here's another one. This is for a medical practice, right? And they're looking, how do we appeal? How do we find the people that would want to come to our medical practice? So working mom, Wendy, she's the healthcare decision maker in her family. 30 to 50, kids are under 18 still. And she's the decision maker, and she needs to keep her and her family healthy, but she's very busy. She needs everything quick, convenient, reliable. She has a busy work schedule, so it makes it challenging to take sick days for her or her children. So how can this medical practice help her? Right? Provide easy online scheduling, same-day appointments, make care easily accessible from home or work with convenient locations, and produce online health resources. So yeah, they already have these services. They're just like, who are our ideal customers for these services? Somebody who wants that to make it super easy for them, right? So that would be, if you're developing a couple buyer personas, one potential buyer persona for this particular medical group. So when you're building your buyer personas, these are, again, I'm just kind of showing this when you get the slides and recording, the different things to consider when you're building your buyer personas. I even recommend putting a picture to it. You know, find a picture on the internet. Don't use a friend or family or a current client because they have baggage on them already, you know, so to speak. So find a Bachelor Bryce, you know, or Working Mom Wendy. Doesn't have to be, I'm only going to go after blondes with glasses, you know, for your pictures, but it kind of starts really making you think about who really is your target audience. You know, so whatever aspects of your buyers you want to create, to think about, pictures, quotes, their demographics, their pain points, all that. These are the different things you can think about. And then you have a blank sheet that you will get to build some buyer personas and see who it is that is ideal. If I don't know what the business is here in the audience, but you know, if anybody focuses on students, children, you know, say if you're a tutor, a math tutor, and you work with kids 10 to 15, who's your target audience? Not the kids, right? It's the parents. So you could target parents of kids who are teenagers, and maybe you have to have a certain income level, you know, because they have to afford the tutoring. So it might not be the budget conscious mom, maybe the executive, you know, luxury lifestyle mom that can afford tutoring for her children. So that you have to think about your audience a little different way. One quick example before we go on, somebody I attended one of my classes, and we we're talking about specifically about buyer personas, and she does tennis accessories for women. And she already was selling, and she said, well, it was interesting. You think, okay, well, women who play tennis are her ideal client, of course. But she found when she did her research of current client, and she didn't do anything to encourage this or, you know, advertise or anything, but she found a lot of her buyers were male in medical profession. So they obviously were buying gifts for the woman in their life that plays tennis, daughters and wives and girlfriends, whatever. So she figured, hey, that's another buyer persona that just happened to bubble up to the surface. And now she's like, oh, well, maybe there's a higher percentage of medical people who play tennis and might have a female in their life who needs some tennis accessories as gifts. So that just, you know, came from looking at the research of who already purchased. So it was interesting to see, you know, who purchased if you actually just look under the hood, right, and see what's going on. And then SWOT and USP. So SWOT we'll talk about first. If you haven't already done this for your business, I definitely encourage everybody to do it, especially with COVID going on. That's changed a lot of things, but you know, on an annual basis, look at what your SWOT is and if anything's changed. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, pretty easy to understand. Strengths, what you do well, what you do better than your competitors, you know, what good internal resources you have and what assets you have. Weaknesses, opposite, right? What do you lack? What do your competitors do better, perhaps? Your resource limitations, if you have any. And then, of course, your unclear, unique selling proposition. We'll talk about that next. Opportunities. Maybe there's underserved markets for your specific products or service. Maybe you don't have a lot of competitors in your area. Maybe there is an emerging need for your products or service. That happened a lot during the pandemic. New things popped up for some people, especially if you're selling PPE, right? Press media coverage for your company are always good to have that. Threats, of course, would be kind of the opposite again, emerging competitors or changing regulatory environment, as Bob mentioned and Angela mentioned about COVID, constantly changing with COVID. And if you have locations, businesses where you have to constantly, am I open, am I closed, do we need masks, do we need vaccines? You know, that's affecting a lot of businesses right now. And of course, we would never want negative press or media coverage. That's a bad thing. And then this changing customer attitude towards your company. Like I mentioned, the recording studio guy, he knew there was changing attitude towards how we do recording in a studio or in home or whatever. So that he knew was already a threat, right? So here's an example, I have a restaurant client here in the LA area. This could almost be them. They're before or after COVID or during COVID, but generally strengths, excellent, well-trafficked location, good reputation among the community. They have a great menu. Their weaknesses, definitely right now and anytime, higher costs compared to a chain restaurant, definitely. They have only a single location, so it is a limited reach, modest advertising budget. They are currently using food technology, but some restaurants aren't or weren't. hopefully they got on board during COVID, opportunities. Yeah, now they can use those food technology and delivery apps to help grow their business. They can, expand out their patio, use their parking lot as table service, right? Seasonal menu, help keep things fresh and interesting. Threats, intensifying competition from established chains, maybe not so much. I don't know if big chains were opening up franchises or locations during the pandemic. Uncertain economic environment, that's true all the time with restaurants, right? Tricky, risky business, and even without a pandemic going on. Definitely rising costs of ingredients, the supply chain. That one's a new, my client can't get enough food sometimes to serve the restaurant because of supply chain issues. And then of course, COVID's been a major threat, still is a threat to many businesses. So as you can see here, a lot of things have, COVID has affected a lot of things, but it's good idea to look at the SWOT for your business and see what's changed, what you can flip around from a weakness to a strength, or not from a threat to an opportunity. And then just doing some basic competitor analysis. If you have, most of us do, I don't know if everybody in the room does, but whether they're local competitors of what you do or online competitors, and be larger ones and smaller ones, you can determine what you want to analyze and compare against your competitors. You can map out 3 or 4 of them and look at your strengths, your weaknesses against theirs. Pricing might be a competitive thing you want to look at if that matters for your type of business. What are you all doing on social media? That's easy to find. You just go visit their social media and look at yours and see how you compare. If you have an onboarding experience, is yours better or worse than any of your competitors? Whatever things you want to measure against to see, like, what can I improve? And this is all for you for the purpose of you improving. Right? Not just like, oh, great, they're doing better than I am, or knock them down in any way. What can you improve upon by looking? It's always good to, we kind of, I always say, want to kind of squint over at our competitors and I don't know if I really want to know, but it's always good to open your eyes wide open and see who else is doing what out there and do that comparison. Act like the gas, the 3 corners on the same intersection, where they all okay, yeah, he dropped his price, I'm dropping my price, or I'm doing this, or I'm offering a car wash because they're offering a car wash. You might not want to always have to go by price, but they're always eyes wide open is my reason for mentioning that, not necessarily to be competitive on pricing. So here's another blank one you'll get with your slides and recording as well, or just take a piece of paper and draw across and do your SWOT and try it out and refresh it, every few months or once a year, whatever works for your business. So. And then unique selling proposition. So what is that exactly? So basically it's a combination of what you do well versus what the customer wants. We want to be in that winning zone, as you can see there, clear point of difference between what you do, what your competitors might do better. We don't want to be in the losing zone of what your competitor does better than you. Risky as well. I don't know if competition, battleground, what's going on there. And we definitely don't want to be in the who cares zone. Hopefully nobody here in this audience is in the who cares. Nobody cares about what you're doing, your product or your service. It's just a waste of time for everybody to be in that space. So want to stay in the winning zone and have clear point of difference that meets the needs of your ideal customer is what a unique selling proposition is. There's an example. If you're familiar with Bombas, they're sort of as a sock company. I think they do t-shirts and slippers as well. But basically their unique selling proposition is every time for yourself, they donate an item to somebody affected by homelessness. So here's an example of their product. 4-pack of beautiful merino tie-dye socks, $78. Now, their market's not everybody. Most of us, millions of people out there wear socks, and there's millions of socks out there. But not everybody is Bombas' ideal customer. This is causal marketing. If you care, a lot of us, of course, everybody cares. We want to make sure everybody stays warm out there and help people affected by homelessness also need socks. But not all of us are going to spend $78 for 4 pairs of socks, because that cost is built in to, be able to pass on some socks to other people. right? So this isn't everybody. This is a particular audience that they're looking for because that's what their deal is. Are they any more special socks than any other socks out there? I don't know, technology, there's other tie-dye socks, there's other merino wool socks out there, but it's all about they're giving socks away to people experiencing homelessness, right? So not everybody is going to be their sock wearers. Not the person who like, I'll just go to Target and get my 10-pack of gym socks. I'm good for 15 bucks. You know, that is not Bomba's audience. So don't worry about screenshotting or anything. You'll get these on the slides. These are just things to consider. You don't have to consider all of them with your unique selling proposition, but some of the things to consider. What distinguishes you from your competitors? You know, what's your unique story? So is it what's different from your closest competitor? Do you provide additional services your competition does? What do you excel at? Do you have a certain niche that meets certain physical, spiritual needs? Is it a demographic advantage, you know, that you're like, hey, we offer this in this particular area and nobody else does? Is your service distinguishable from others? Maybe you offer 24/7 hotline that nobody else does. You know, maybe you have certain offers and incentives that are unique to your industry. There's some more personal. Maybe you have special skills or unique training, your track record, how long you've been in business, you know, and your you know, what your maybe client testimonials are part of it as well. And what's your vision? So giving an example of somebody in a local taco shop here in the LA area. And I can imagine everyone in LA, there's a ton of taco shops out there, and some have been in business for quite a while, but there's one that the family business has been around for 45 plus years now. That can be a distinguishing thing, you know, especially in the restaurant industry where people go out, 50% of them go out of business quickly, right? 45 plus years and have 2 shops in the LA area. But one of the things that she mentioned when we were doing a buyer persona Zoom meeting once, and she said, you know, she mentioned that Oprah, if you remember, Oprah did her favorite things years ago when she had her show. She came there, and one of her favorite burritos is at this shop. I don't remember which one it is, but she didn't really mention that. You know, that was a thing, that Oprah was a favorite burrito there. That's a unique selling proposition right there. Now I hear her mention it. Of course, still mention the 45 plus years. That's definitely, hey, if people still love your food after 45 years, you must be doing something right, especially in a very competitive space, right? So hopefully that makes sense as far as unique selling proposition. Come up with, you know, what makes you unique and your story unique. So some examples, these are some of them older and bigger companies, but you know, Federal Express, right? That's what they were known as originally, not FedEx. But when they first started out, it was all about when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That was the only service that they offered at the time. Nobody else did. So that was unique for them. Now they, like everybody else, they offer everything from ground up to overnight service, right? So Domino's, kids are starving, mom and dad too tired to cook, pizza delivered in 30 minutes or it's free. I don't know if Domino's still does that, anybody knows, but that was a unique selling proposition. I want it fast. College kids, you know, like, are they going to be here in 32 minutes? I get a free pizza. But you know, that was a unique selling proposition. Everybody knew if you wanted pizza fast, you go to Domino's. I don't know about good, nothing against Domino's, but you know, it wasn't about the pizza quality, it was about the pizza timing, right? Head and Shoulders, right? Only thing they do is dandruff-free hair. That's all they're known for. That's a unique selling proposition. And then this medical profession, I think they're using the Domino's method of marketing here. We guarantee you'll be able to, you don't have to wait longer than 15 minutes or your consultation is free. So just like the Domino's pizza. So that could be a unique selling proposition. None of us like to wait, as we always do, for the doctor and dentist appointments, right? So next up is the branding, and what is that about, right? So what's your story, you know, and how does that set you apart, right? And your story sets you apart from your competition, so you're a little bit different than any other business or commodity that does exactly what you do. And people connect with people. Once they know your story, that's going to help build that loyalty and connection to you. You know, we're not tied, we're not Starbucks and big companies where it's like, I don't care where my Tide Pods and who's behind the company, you know, Procter and Gamble or whoever it is. But we're all small business owners for the most part, and people want to connect with us. They want to know, why do you do what you do? You know, wow, that's pretty good. John mentioned Domino's has 2-minute curbside now if you pre-order. Wow, that's pretty good. We have to go pick it up. Right? So crafting your story is very important, you know, and everything you do crafts your story. Every touch point potentially you have with a customer tells your story. So your social media, your website, your delivery vans, your storefronts, your employee uniforms, everything you do crafts your story. You want to be consistent across all of those platforms because confused buyers do not buy. So you want to be careful with not being consistent with your where you craft and how you craft your story. And of course, always telling the truth, right? Tell you a little bit about branding, right? And telling the right story with your images. So this is Janet. I know her from the Central Coast. She's a life coach, and she had, you know, perfectly serviceable headshot here. And it works. It's not really who she is now, but it, you know, is it telling the right story to the right audience for her? So our branding photographer friend, who also did my branding photography, kind of zhuzhed her up a little bit, and let's get some new headshots going, more of what she looks like now, but also in addition to headshots, some additional shots that spoke to her ideal client, somebody who wants a life coach and tell people their life problems, and, you know, make her appear more warm and friendly and compassionate and heartfelt, more than just kind of that headshot that was kind of like, yes, I'll be your banker today. You know, nothing against bankers, but it just wasn't talking to her ideal audience, right? And and if there's any questions too, please ask them. I'm going to probably I'll leave about, say, 5 minutes for questions towards the end of it, because I want to make sure I get through the rest of this presentation. But if there are any questions, just go ahead and put them in Q&A. So this is Marcy Jean. She's a hair and skin specialist, and she's not only selling professional, she also wanted to sell playful, right? She wanted her personality to shine through, also show, hey, I know what I'm doing with hair and skin. This appeal to an audience that wants somebody like that, but also know that she knows what she's doing. So this is Eastwell Bean and Tea up in SLO County, and they're selling calm. So they wanted their branding pictures to show they do body work, they sell tea, nice calm experience when you come. Here's Vinny. He's a real estate broker up in Pismo Beach, and you know, typical real estate broker, but shots are going to be holding the sign, holding the keys, but he wants to show his ideal audience that he's not just selling them a home, he's also selling them a lifestyle. You're going to come there, you're going to have 250 wineries in your backyard. You can sit at the ocean at the hotel eating a gourmet meal while you're looking over the gorgeous Pacific Ocean. You know, so he's showing his ideal audience what they're going to get, not just that home. And then branding a business, right? So this is one of my winery clients up in Paso, and they had no photography when I first met them almost 5 years ago. And they were celebrating their 10th anniversary. So we brought Gina in to shoot the photography for the party, but also I said, hey, I need marketing photos. I need pictures other than a picture of old wine barrels and old shots of the owners. So of course, come in and take pictures, details, you know, of course, grapes and vineyards and bottles and glasses of wine. And then product shots, you know, you need to have good product shots to use for marketing and advertising. And then the benefits of what happens when you come there. This is their grand reopening party. You come in there and you have food and music and you have a great time, right? And of course, more fun at the party, and they're tasting their back patio. And then the people, most important, the people, the owners, Cheryl and Randy there at the bottom, and Tiffany, the tasting room manager in the upper right. These are why people come back. As 250 competitors in their backyard, literally a stone's throw down the road is 1 or 2 wineries. You know, what distinguishes them? They all sell grape juice. What distinguishes them from those other competitors? It's the people, you know, that really, that's what keeps them coming back after 14 or 15 years in business, right? So make sure you show who you are. Don't hide, you know, your website, like who you are and why do you do what you do? People are going to connect to that, not just the product or the service that you offer. And then once you have branding, you have branding for social media and flyers and whatever you need your marketing materials for, whatever you need your pictures for, video content as well. And then what do these brands convey, right? We're like I mentioned, we're not Starbucks, we're not Apple, and it doesn't matter what you think about these brands. But the one thing, whether you go to a Starbucks in Los Angeles or in Hong Kong, or Apple in Santa Monica or Paris, France, you're going to have a pretty consistent experience, right? Slightly different languages spoken. Maybe they don't have Americanas in Paris, France. But generally you're going to have a consistent experience, and we can learn from that even as smaller brands, is that consistency across the product, across the look and feel, their messaging, all the same, nothing changes, doesn't matter what location you're going to, only those slight, cultural variations. And then tactical plan, what's that mean? So tactical plan is like, how are you going to implement this marketing plan once you start doing the SWOT and build your USP and have your branding and all that going, right? What do you need? Can you do it? Can you do all of the marketing strategy? Do you need to hire a team? Do you hire outside agency? What tools will you specifically need? Right. And one is the budget, figuring out what you need to do for marketing and advertising as far as a budget. So it's a simple Excel file or Excel sheet that you can create and figure out what your hard costs are for marketing, what your subscriptions and training and costs of staff and all of that. Have a budget in mind, and don't wait to sell to have a marketing budget. Right? Because you're going to need a marketing budget to help you sell. I see that a lot. Like, well, I don't have a marketing budget, I have to have some sales first. If you can, allocate towards the marketing budget wherever you can, and making sure you're doing it smart, not spraying and praying and throwing spaghetti on the wall, but making sure you do it in the right place. But that's what's going to help you grow, is your marketing. So some examples of things to measure or to measure as far as expenses, your direct selling costs, advertising, if you're going to spend money on ads, sales, your marketing materials, your staffing, training, subscriptions, all that. And then some tools that you may consider. You might not need all of these, but these are just, I gathered up, like, what do I need for marketing tools to run my business? You're going to need social media tools, to publish. Also, I didn't put on your social listening tools as well. Email marketing platforms out there. And these are just some examples I just threw up there. There's not the only. MailChimp, Constant Contact, all that. Calendaring and scheduling tools. If you have appointments people set, use a scheduler. Don't do the back and forth, hey, well, you have today open at 10, or, and you're spending like 5 emails trying to get a calendar appointment set. Use something like Calendly and just say, here's my calendar link, set in a time that works for you. Graphic design tools, Canva. If you haven't used that, you need to create your social media and your marketing graphics, or Photoshop, Illustrator. Do you need a customer relationship management tool like Salesforce or HubSpot or Zoho? SC search engine optimization tools, sales tools. So all different things. You'll get this slide to think about to run your marketing. Those are part of your tactical planning. What do you need to use and spend money on? And then finally, measuring and optimizing. Now we're getting a few minutes left here. You want to always look under the hood, just like your accountant or bookkeeper, when they're looking at your numbers, to make sure you're not in the red, you're not losing money. Hopefully, or everybody's making money here. But you don't want to waste any time or money, as we mentioned. So same with looking at your analytics, and your metrics. You want to, in content marketing, you want to look at your downloads and number of prospects, your website. You want to see who's visiting your website. What are they doing? Are they going to the right places? Are they bouncing off the site because something's wrong? And are they converting? Are they purchasing? Your advertising, are they converting? All of these are about, great. Look at your open rates and click rates and all that, but for your email, but are they converting? Are they making purchases? If not, we need to figure something else out and look at that. So always want to look under the hood. Google Analytics should be installed on your website. You should be looking at it. don't just say, oh, I have it installed. Make sure somebody is looking at those metrics. And make sure the Google Analytics is working. I've seen a lot of people have wrong tracking codes, or it's just not actually working. Make sure, go home or when we hang up, go check if you have a website. Google Analytics, and Facebook Insights, Twitter Analytics, YouTube, all of the social media platforms have analytics for you to look at. Make sure you're tracking them, set up benchmarks, and make sure you're growing, you're converting. All of those things are happening when you, are looking under the hood for your marketing. Otherwise, you're just kind of like, again, throwing the spaghetti up and hoping for the best. And we don't want to do that, right? So that is my presentation. So I know we're under the 5 minutes to go, Angela. She's going to start off some Q&A if there's any questions. So thank you, everybody. I hope you start and do a marketing plan to start the year off. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so much, Patty. That was an absolutely excellent presentation, if I may say so, on behalf of everyone. Very easy to apply, great tips, tools, and techniques. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. I think that was wonderful. And I know many of you asked if the presentation and the video recording and the slides will be available. Yes, it is quite a large deck, so we won't be able to email it to you, but we will have it available on our website. There's actually a past events button. So please take a look at this presentation after we conclude, as well as past presentations we've done on social media, digital presence. We typically present on upcoming grants. So please take a look at that. There's a wealth of information for everyone. I know we're coming close to time, so we'll take a couple questions addressed to Patty. Someone wants to know, what is geofencing?
So geofencing, yes. So basically it's the, you can target people in a specific area. So I'll give you a quick example, the wine industry. Say you're up in Napa and you're driving down Highway 29 and you can focus on somebody driving down the highway. They're like looking for a Chardonnay. And if you can focus on them and like, oh, let's hit those people who are looking for Chardonnay in a specific area. So basically there are companies that do geofencing technology. Like you're selling tickets to a concert. You want to focus on people from LA to San Diego. That would be kind of a quick way to describe geofencing.
Thank you. And on that note, what is SEO? Can you give us a little short background on what SEO stands for, and what does SEM stand for as well?
Yeah, so search engine is search engine optimization, SEO. Search engine marketing is SEM. So basically the same thing, marketing around search engine optimization, whether you're doing Google ads or just optimizing your website organically to get more traffic using keywords. Specifically. So making sure you have content on your website, that'd be the search engine marketing, to make sure you have, if you sell, bananas, you have the word bananas on your website somewhere so that the search engines can find you and direct people to your bananas.
Thank you so much, Patty. And actually, I had a question during the presentation, and Jennifer asks the same question as well. As a nonprofit, we have a limited budget. Which marketing tools would you focus on? But I'd like to also elaborate on that. During the pandemic, which marketing platform or outlet do you think businesses should focus on? Are we talking social media, email marketing, video content, perhaps postcards? Do people prefer physical mail? Do they want their news, online? So which should we focus on? Where should we put our budgets into?
Yeah, I think that people, maybe now, but I know initially probably direct mail was probably hurting because people were like afraid to touch their boxes when they came in. I remember 2 years ago, like, I'm going to let my box sit outside in case the box has COVID on it or something. So physical things, we're still getting used to touching things again. Of course, with Omicron, when things are changing backwards again. But I would say, definitely, I didn't get a chance because it's a shortened version, but have a content calendar and map out your content. And I can send Angela to share with everybody my content calendar that I use. That's a very important tool to have. Canva is probably one tool that I say everybody should learn how to use. If you're going to create your own marketing graphics, you don't have to be a graphic designer to use that tool. It's $10 a month, pay for the pro version.
So simple to use.
Yeah, I teach a class on how to use Canva, but great tool to use. Very, $10. I think they might even have a nonprofit price going on, but $10 a month. Those are probably most important tools. Something like a social media publishing tool. I use Later, and that one is even like $10, $12 a month. They had a free version. Now they're paid version is $9 or $10. So those would probably be the ones to focus on. I mean, there's other ones out there, Jennifer, that as far as nonprofits, I mean, look for the things that are free or cheap, or also make sure any tools that you're signing up for. And if you're not familiar as a nonprofit with TechSoup, TECH Soup, SOUP.com, check them out, because those are for nonprofit. As long as you're a 501c3, there's a lot of great resources and discounts on tools and software and all types of things for nonprofits. But also look like for Canva and all the email marketing platforms, a lot of them offer nonprofit discounts as well. So, you know, ask. I always say, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Right.
So,
Thank you so much, Patty. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for taking some questions. I do want to slowly start wrapping up with a few additional final remarks. As mentioned, our technical assistance program is available for everyone to please take advantage of. It is confidential, complimentary, and very curated to your needs. So depending on your needs, our business assistance team will be in contact with you after this event to further assess where we can assist you with. If you would prefer to complete our business intake form on our website, laedc.org/coronavirus, where we can learn a little bit more about what industry you represent, how many businesses, employees you have, and some of your needs for us to have more information before we go ahead and schedule that consultation. Once again, we have a webinar series that we've launched. We present twice a month on educational topics specifically for our audience, which are small businesses. We have one other event set for January, that's January 20th, on 4 steps to building a profitable high growth business. We are still on the topic of our January 2022 and New Year outlook. So this should also be a great webinar for small businesses to attend and learn how to better strategize. And on the website, we have an upcoming calendar of events where we will also be posting our February 2022 webinars as well. With that said, I'd like to thank all of our attendees for your time this morning. I hope you took some great takeaways from the presentation. I know I did, to further apply to the Together for LA program. So once again, Patty, thank you so much for the great work you do in the community, for your expertise, and for joining us this morning and sharing this great information. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the 20th. Thank you so much.
everyone.